As a reminder, please, and as another reminder, there is no video recording. Please silence all cell phones during tonight's press conference. All set? Tonight for Texas, we have head coach Jarrett Elliott, Yazzie Bedartani, Chloe Collins, and Paulina Prieto-Sarame. Texas advances to Saturday's national championship match at 6:30 with a record of 30-2. Coach, if you'll start with an opening statement, we will open the floor to questions.
Well, I think that was a very high-level match. I think both teams played extremely steady. You know, you look at the side-out percentages and the way the team plays and the hitting percentage. I think it's was a big-time semifinal match, which is great for our sport to grow it. But we have a tremendous amount of respect for Minnesota. I think Hugh had an excellent game plan to go against us. I thought our serving did a nice job to kind of get them out of some situations. And, I'm just so proud of this group. This is a team that never gives up. As I've said, there's a reason why I love coaching this group. We lose Chi, and our freshman Mo comes in, and we're able to kind of step up our game and play well. And, just the way that we played tonight was remarkable. For Yazzie to play the way that she did as a freshman and with no nerves is a tribute to her, but also I think it's a tribute to our culture in terms of getting her ready. I thought Chloe ran a great offense with her passers, doing a nice job. I think it was an all-around great match for us. And, it's hard for a team like Minnesota to go home playing that well. It could have gone either way. I mean, the first two sets we got a big ace and made a couple of big plays at the end. But I don't know, my mind's kind of racing, as you can hear, while I'm all over the place. But I'm excited for this group, and I'm so glad that I have another 2 days with them.
With your questions, please state your name and affiliation. We will open the floor.
Michael Shapiro, Daily Texan. Yazzie, what has your journey been like this year, coming in as a freshman and then having probably what was your best match of your year in career thus far?
I've just been building each game, each practice, and I have such a great support group here, and they just really push you to be the best that you can be. So just going out there and working hard every day with them has probably made so much of a difference in my game.
Mike Malloy, NCAA.com. Chloe, this question for you. Yazzie she's a freshman and she didn't play a lot the first half of the season. Did it take you a while to figure out where she likes the ball and get on the same page with her? And if so, has it finally clicked? Because she's had her best matches here in the NCAA tournament.
I think over time we developed that chemistry throughout practice. Even though Yazzie wasn't playing as much during the season, we would definitely get those reps in practice. So the chemistry was always there. It's just constantly building every match and through every practice. And she's done extremely well. I'm really happy for her.
Right down here in front.
Chris Balski from Volleyball.com. Coach, can you give us an update on Chi's status and if she'll be available Saturday night?
Yeah, she'll be fine. It had nothing to do with conditioning. She was just cramping. And I think some of the nerves maybe of this, she has a tendency that can happen. It's happened before in the season. We thought we were able to manage it through a kind of a half game, and then it got worse. And, we made a decision to kind of get her some medical attention to try to see if we get her back in case we went to Game 5, but I have no worries that she'll be back. No concerns.
Jack Hammond with Volleyball Magazine. Coach, when either Kansas or Nebraska look at the tape, they're going to see that the slide for Minnesota was just almost 95% successful. What did you want your athletes to do? What did they fail to do? What would you like them to do if Nebraska or Kansas comes back?
Yeah, I mean, this is the little team that could. We got some matchup issues. Amy's not a very big blocker. Chloe's not a very big blocker. We've got some situations where we got to be smart. We've got to be good with our serving and get them off the net. And I think that's kind of what we were able to do, to get them some predictable situations. But at this level, you're going to face that. And I think what we have is what our seniors have kind of labeled as amnesia. We let the big swings go and just got to be good with our offense. We don't have ways to counteract it. I thought, with the speed of it, we got to be a little bit more. We got to get over a little bit sooner and reach. But that when you run an offense like that, where you got a one and a wave, you got to respect the middle, but they're going to get one-on-one all the time. So, you hopefully do a good job with the matchups in terms of servers, and some of the things that we were able to do helped us kind of get out of that.
Kevin Barnett with the Net Live. Coach, passing was an issue early in the season, ball control. A lot of people would say Texas, if they could pass the ball, there's no place they can't go. What were you successful in doing all season long to better that aspect of the game beyond just simple reps?
Well, I think Eric's, my assistant, does a phenomenal job training it, and we've just been building over it. But one of the keys is, one of the people that don't get any recognition on this team is Nicole Dalton. She was one of the reasons we won in 2012 as a DS. She's been injured. She's coming back from an injury. She wasn't able to win the starting spot with the setting, and Chloe's done a phenomenal job, and Cole has now, taken on a role that helps this team, and it shows a lot about what kind of people we have. But she really, not only is she a great passer, but she has great mentality back there and adds a calmness. So, I think we've got 4 good, really solid passers, and we can do some things with it, and we can control the ball. And yeah, this is one of the best passing teams we've had. Not one of the most physical, but we've been able to control the ball, and with our 2 middles, being able to hit, behind, we can do some different things that can give us some advantages matchup-wise, even though we're a little bit smaller, and give away some other areas. But ball control has been the staple point for this team.
Coach, hi.
Hi.
Yazzie didn't play a lot in the first half of the season. Was she injured, or had she just not earned her way into the lineup? And talk about that, where she came from, and now where she is, where she's had these last 4 matches have been her best of the year.
Well, we knew she was good. I think Yazzie from day one came in committed to what she needed to do to get better. Early on in the early practices, we had, the preseason freshman of the year that transferred in that was playing on the right side, and Yazzie was competing on the left side and had some really good practices, and was battling in that. And then when we lost her, we made a concerted effort to get over to the right, but it took a week or 2 to get it going. And in our gym, you got to prove that you can get to that point. And after about a week, you could just see that gaining some momentum and taking some good swings. And she early on in the season, I think she was just swinging as hard as she could and figuring it out. And now she's starting to get some range and some belief and able to deal with longer balls. We've been trying to get her, training her more out of system and longer sets, and she's done a phenomenal job on that. But the best thing about her is that she's got a confidence about herself that she doesn't need any kind of stroking from a coaching staff to convince her what she's good. I think she has that mentality. I think she embraces these situations, and I think that it shows a lot to our upperclassmen, to what you're doing. And that's happened, some of the things that she's done in the timeouts over the year. You can see, what her confidence level is as a young athlete.
3rd row.
Chloe, in the first set, I think it was at 15-all, it was 13-15, you executed a setter dump, and then you appeared to strut, and Minnesota appeared to notice and was not happy, I think. I don't know. On the very next play, they got a setter dump, their freshman, right back on you. But from then on, when you would do that, you either looked right up at the ref or otherwise. Did somebody tell you not to do that? Was there any conversation about what you were doing or not doing out there in your celebration?
That was just me in the moment. Just really excited for myself and the team that we got the point. Throughout practice, Jared and I always discuss moments when I should dump, when I shouldn't dump, and that was just one of the moments when I actually executed. So it was just caught up there. And as far as the other moments of me tipping, it was just trying to have another one of those straight down moments, but it didn't happen that way.
Paulina, you came through in the clutch against Florida, and then that first set you seemed very comfortable. Have you been growing and just feeling more comfortable late in sets and late in matches this year?
I think just with the experience that I've had and having Yazzie and other newbies in the court has made me have to step up as a veteran, and I think that's given me confidence. And I give a lot of credit to my teammates and our chemistry as to why I'm so confident about myself and each other.
We have time for one more question.
Jarrett, when Chiaka went out, they clearly wanted to go after your freshman middle. But can you talk about just weathering that storm? Other players maybe stepping up their games around her.
Yeah, I mean, it started to happen in game 2. So early on, I was communicating with Mo, saying, "Hey, this is your time. She's been great in practice. We have a lot of confidence in you, and let's go out there and have some fun and enjoy this moment and be the confident young lady that you can be." I think it happened. We got stuck in rotation 6. That's where it's Paulina and her in there. So we only have 2 hitters. So the tendency is that you kind of ignore that player early on. I think that's what they did. So I called the timeout and I called a 1 and made them stay and try to get them commit. And Paulina just actually went over them and got the big side out. And then we were able to side out the next time. They scored 2 points. Then we went a wave with Amy on the white to try to counteract some of the following that they were doing. Because when teams scheme, then the white at the middle of the net's wide open, and Amy took a great swing. So, it's a tribute to Chloe knowing what's going on, making good decisions. But Paulina stepping up, and, she's grown so much with her confidence and belief, and I think she's embracing the big swings right now.
Congratulations to Texas on advancing to Saturday's national championship.
Thank you.
Another reminder to please silence all cell phones and no video recording during tonight's press conference. Tonight for Minnesota, we have head coach Hugh McCutcheon, Dolly Santana, and Hannah Tapp. Minnesota finishes the season with a record of 30-5. Coach, if you'll start with an opening statement, we will open the floor to questions.
Good evening, everybody. Obviously, congratulations to Texas on a well-played match, and I think tonight a well-deserved victory. Thought it was very close. Obviously, the score would reflect that, and it's a shame we couldn't turn a couple of more plays at the right time, but certainly to Texas's credit, they were able to make the plays when they counted, and we wish them all the best moving forward.
When you ask your question, please make sure to state your name and affiliation. We'll open the floor now.
Hi, Hugh. Jack Hammond, Volleyball Magazine. Hugh, the slide was very effective tonight. Why was it effective? Why couldn't Texas seem to have an answer for it? And could you or should you have gone to it more if you could?
As far as, Texas's ability or inability on the slide, I think that's probably a question for Jarrett. We just were thinking we had a good matchup there, and obviously it was working, so we went back to it. The other phases of our offense, I think we're functioning. We just maybe weren't as good as we've been in other weeks in this tournament. But we hit 270. It's not like we got rolled out there. So, I'll leave it there. I think just to summarize, I thought we ran what we thought was working. As for the rest of it, some of that had to do with some offensive range. Some of that had to do with some good blocking by Texas and some nice defense on their part.
Don Patterson, Volleyball USA. Hugh, did you feel like maybe, other than Game 3 where you guys got them in some trouble, seemed like you were serving Zone 1 quite a bit and it was pretty effective, feel like you could have served tougher tonight, put them in more trouble and gotten them in some passing issues?
Yeah, it's possible. I thought for the most part we were doing a nice job in the serve-receive battle, but because they were hitting so well out of system, that was the difference. Clearly for us the goal is to try to knock them out and then shore up our block and D accordingly, but both of their left sides hit for a good number out of system, and so what was a strategy that had been pretty effective for us so far this year didn't really pay dividends tonight.
Coach, when you guys got that third set, do you think you had swung the momentum in the match, or did you feel it was still kind of a stalemate?
No, not at all. I don't think things shifted. Really, it was a couple of heavyweights going at it. It was a couple of good teams, and if you look at the balance of these teams coming into this match, you knew it was going to be close, and we didn't certainly take it for granted. Like all of a sudden, hey, we've won the third, the rest is going to be easy. It's the NCAA Final Four. Every point's a battle.
Hugh, how much was Bedart Ghani part of your game plan, your focal point? She's kind of been in and out of the lineup a little bit, but playing very well this postseason, and obviously had a tremendous night.
She was phenomenal, yeah. And we thought, at least on paper, we knew a lot of what was going to happen, but it's a little bit different rhythm. Excuse me, and we didn't really adjust well for a long time. I thought towards the end of the match, we were getting at least in better spots and getting some touches, but yeah, she did a nice job. Yeah, she was very good. So obviously it's one thing to talk about, it's a whole different thing to do it.
Mike Patterson, Omaha World Herald. Dolly, what did Texas do you think, that made them so tough tonight?
I think, just like Hugh mentioned, I think they were hitting really, really well out of system, and I think, our plan was to knock them out of system a lot, and obviously that wasn't working as well as we thought, but props to them. They did a really good job.
Hugh, when Agbagu goes out for them with the cramps, you go right after their freshman middle. Did you think at that point, okay, we got them in a bad spot?
Again, we were just looking for another weakness to try to exploit, and it was an unknown. We don't know this other middle blocker, how good she is. We just knew that it was someone new, and maybe we could try and find something there. And I say that I think we had a pretty clean offensive plan. I think Sam did a nice job trying to execute, so that wasn't kind of a clutching at straws tactic, but clearly it makes sense that perhaps she's not quite as effective as the person she replaced, so we thought it was worth a try.
Dolly, you didn't have a lot of success with your tips. Now, some of those might have been out of system sets or other kinds of problems, but did you get that sense that Texas was really, really getting to your tips? And did you try to stop doing that? Or we noticed at the end of each set, it was just pound, 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 and you got away from that. But talk about the tips part, please.
Yeah, I would say obviously you come into the game and you're looking for different shots that might work, all night long. And if they're not working, you make sure that you use the ones that are working. And so I think I guess adjusted to that, and my swings were working better than my tips, and so I think, I kept doing that.
Kevin Barnett, the Net Live. Hugh, a lot of close moments in this match, and you're very calm on the bench at times, even when it's a deuce set or it's a match point or a set point, you're not moving much. What goes into your demeanor or your approach in those moments?
Well, I guess for me, if I want my athletes to be composed in those big moments, then it would be a little strange for me to be freaking out. And I have a lot of trust in this group, so it's very easy for me to be, clear and present and thinking about what do we have to do to win the next one versus getting caught up in the emotion of the moment. And so, yeah, I just don't see what yelling and screaming is going to do at that point. It's not that I don't have emotions. I'm not a robot. I do have a heart and everything, but it's just I'm trying to help this group, and I thought, just part of this whole event is managing the moments, and that's about emotional control. So I felt if I could exhibit some of that, perhaps it might help our athletes. Who knows if it does or not? You can ask them.
Rachel Blount, Minneapolis Star-Tribune. For both of the athletes, losing the first two sets by such excruciatingly close margins, both those sets were close all the way through. What was the team's mindset at that point, and how did you remain positive?
I'd say, we were here, and it would take, I guess, as long as it would take, if that makes sense. We were here to compete. Doesn't matter how long it took us. And 2 sets, really close. We're right here. I guess that was our mentality. We're right here. We got this. Come into the third set, and it's 0-0. Take it 1 point at a time.
Hannah, what was this week like? What was it like managing this week and people traveling, family, friends, folks contacting you, media, and everything that went into this season Big Ten championship and coming to this event?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shiny stuff, so I think it was just managing and keeping our unity and not really getting sucked into all the distractions, I guess, and just maintaining what we have, because what we have is really special.
We have time for one last question.
I'd like to ask all three of you if you could reflect briefly on what this season has meant for the Gophers program, what it's meant to you personally, and what it means going forward for the Gophers.
I think it's been a great year. I think I'm extremely proud of this group. I think we did such a good job in, I guess, changing the culture of Minnesota volleyball, and that's something that's really hard to do. And I guess that was one of our goals, you know what I mean? And I think we did it, and I think we had an amazing season.
I'd have to agree with Dolly. Very proud of how far this team has come.
Well said. Sad that it's come to an end. It's a great group, and it's been a great journey. But as Del said, I think this group's laid a wonderful foundation, and you hope that from this we can continue to build the program into the future. But a very special group, this 2015 team, and very proud of all their accomplishments. And we'll learn from tonight and move on.
All right.
Last thing, I just asked to make a statement. Women's college volleyball is a really exciting sport, and we're just grateful to have this media attention and your interest. We think it's a game with a lot of potential and plenty of room to grow, and hopefully you guys agree. But thanks for your support. We really appreciate it.
Thank you to Minnesota for being part of this year's championship, and congratulations on a fine season.